Hi guys, I'm Matt Ferland with DRD Tactical and Otis Technology. I've got a couple guests with me today here.
Hi there, I'm Greg with Otis Technology. I work on the government side of the business.
And I'm Mollie with Otis Technology, and I manage our law enforcement sales.
So we were in the office the other day and Mollie said something about not feeling comfortable carrying concealed. And after my jaw hit the floor and Greg was like, oh my God. So we said, hey, let's have a conversation on this. So Mollie, what are you thinking about like concealed carry? What are your feelings?
So the thing with me is, I have my pistol permit. I have a Smith & Wesson M&P 9mm. I'm comfortable with shooting it. Don't get to the range as much as I should. Definitely don't train a lot. Many years ago in 2010, I took a Babes with Bullets weekend pistol course, which was amazing. Awesome. This was actually the gun that we trained on, so that was my first purchase because I felt comfortable with it. So I've had it for many years, and I have not once carried it with me, as carry conceal. And a lot of the reasons, I could see you're going to be like, why not?
It sounds like you're comfortable. It sounds like you enjoy it. What is the barrier that's keeping you from carrying?
So a lot of it is I don't think this would be the ideal gun for me to carry. I probably would need or want something more compact. And as far as, the holsters that are out there and the different ways to carry, there's just so many options that it's almost... I don't want to say it's overwhelming. That's a perfect word. So, if you guys could show me some of the guns that you carry with and some of the holsters you use, I think that would be a great first step to get me feeling more comfortable.
Well, understandably, it is overwhelming. If I had $1 for every dollar for every holster I've wasted money on trying to figure out what makes sense. Yeah. Different pistols. What makes sense today doesn't make sense tomorrow. It is very overwhelming. And the thing is just going to your reputable dealer. Checking out different holsters, taking the guns to the firing range, trying the holster. How does it work? I mean, can you get to it actually? Certain holsters work in different scenarios, but what works for what you're trying to do? And that's the key to it, is just trying to self-educate, because your body's different than my body, which is different than Matt's body. And once you figure out what works for you, what's comfortable for you, where you feel comfortable, then it's more natural to carry a firearm.
Exactly, yep. So I think that's the magic sauce. Have the right gun, the right holster, the right setting, and then just get very comfortable with it, and then get out there and train more and shoot more.
I think the good news for today is you came to the right people.
Yes.
And we can help you.
Questionable.
Well, we'll try. So you've got full size, compact, subcompact,
revolvers,
many different types of holsters, like we said. And at the end all, it's going to be what feels comfortable in your hand and what you feel comfortable shooting.
Right.
I would say 95% of people carry, a regular, just semi-auto pistol with a magazine. Revolvers can't fail, or I say can't. Yeah.
anything can fail.
Any mechanical device can fail, but the odds are they're more reliable. But again, they're bigger frame, they're heavier, just more going on as far as carrying it goes. Without a hammer is pretty nice if you want to.
Yeah, so this is a Ruger LCR. It's a 38 special, very short barrel, not great sights. It's an up and close and personal, which most people don't take your wallet from 100 yards away.
Right.
Because you would just walk the other way. So it's an up and close and personal firearm. It's very lightweight, plastic frame, metal, barrel sleeve. It's 5 shots. You better make sure they're good ones for reloading and stuff. But it's hammerless, so you don't have an accidental discharge. If it's in your purse and you slap off. And it's got a very heavy trigger pull, so it has to be. You're not going to mess up with that trigger. Again, though, it's got a lot of recoil. Does have stopping power, but it works in certain situations. Purse gun, you're not going to catch anything on that trigger and pull that trigger.
I didn't even think of that. Having a good trigger pull would be giving me more peace of mind.
Nice
also.
heavy. Yep.
Yeah.
And then let's just look down some of these other ones. This is a Glock 42 and 380, 7-shot capacity. Nice little gun. I can, me personally, I can stick that, not in my appendix, on my back. I can fit this in my pocket. It doesn't show. I can carry that, I'm going to say it, in my 5th pocket. There's places that I can carry that easily. There's different holsters for outside the waistband that will carry kind of high if you're wearing baggy clothing. Yep. There's even a Versa carry that I've used. This little thing slides right over the barrel, covers the trigger guard, and then you'd wear that
Okay.
inside your waistband. So I've run that as well. 380, good stopping power for what it is. Never seen somebody get shot in the foot and say it didn't hurt. Nice firearm, but again, limited capacity, 7 rounds.
Yep. So you got a SIG 365. This is 10 in the mag, 9mm, plenty of stopping power, easy to
Easier.
get ammo.
Right.
I don't think you'd ever perceive the difference in recoil between 380 and 9mm. They're very close. Night sights on it. The grip is stippled all the way, so it has a nice firm grip to it. You do have extended mags or flush mount. For me, I like the extended because I can't really get my bottom finger on there.
Right.
But that said, in the situation you're using this for what your intention is, you don't care about that finger. It is, you're getting rounds off, and really, people don't think about, I can go to the range and bang plates with these and stuff all day long, but when you're in a high stress situation, you're not going to be as accurate as you are on the range.
Right.
So if you have 10 shots, let's say you're batting 300, you're a pretty good baseball player, well, 300 is going to do it for you, where if you've got 5 shots,
Right.
you hit once maybe. So that's something to consider. The more capacity generally, the better.
Now, you mentioned that's a 9mm. As far as that goes, what do you recommend for, 9mm, 45, 40? Does that play a part?
That's all.
At
You
all?
just opened up a whole can of worms.
Sorry.
So that's a big.
Yeah.
So 45s are generally a bigger frame, heavier gun to carry.
Okay, yeah.
So
Limited
concealing them
capacity.
all the time is hard. They are 7-shot mostly. So it's a little bit more difficult.
More recoil. I mean, there's good sides and there's downsides to it. 9mm is a great concealed carry firearm.
It's pretty much your all around everything. And the thing is, you can get so many different loads for a 9mm, different weights. You got 115 grain full metal jacket practicing, you got 147 to carry and a critical defense. That's got the stopping power to it. So there's different loads that you can put into them, and you might practice all the time with just, full metal jacket and shoot a couple rounds just so you're familiar with it and how it feels. But you don't need to shoot critical defense or whatever, security round you're going to run. So that makes a difference with it. You go down as far as this is a little 25. This is really a pocket gun. But if you're going to a special event or a wedding or something and you have a nice, a little small purse that you're carrying with you and you don't have room for this or don't want the extra weight, this is the size of a cell phone.
Right.
Not to say you can't protect yourself with it. I think just this year we learned when we went to shoot in New Hampshire how it was important to carry. And
Absolutely.
you had an awakening with situational awareness.
Yeah.
Or we had a fellow.
Had a guy follow me to the car, and if Matt wasn't with me, I would have been kind of like, uh-oh, what do I do?
Yeah, with the
so.
DEFCON 5 with it. I was
DEFCON
ready.
5.
He wasn't.
He wasn't.
But,
He didn't
I'm
want
not
to.
always,
No, he didn't want that.
but yeah, that's just it. I don't always have somebody with me, and, got to protect yourself.
Yeah,
if you need to.
Then your daughter.
Absolutely,
You're gonna
yeah.
keep track
Family.
of everybody, and it's one of those things where you never want to be in a situation where you wish you had it with you.
Nobody wins.
Yep. The other thing with it is this: carrying a gun is not for everyone. This is a big decision when you do it, because if you ever have to pull this trigger, it's 2 or 3 years of your life
Yep.
that you're going to be in court and going through the expense, 100 carrying, lawyers, what other people think of you. There's a lot to goes with it. It's not something to just, it's cool to do, so I'm going to do it.
Right.
There's a lot of forethought that goes into it. And I think most people, when you really get down to think to it, though, all those things are ancillary. They're not important. Your life is the most important thing you have, or
Right.
the life of your family or whoever you're with, and therefore you make the decision to do it in most cases. In training. So
Right.
the thing is, you don't want just to carry and say, "Oh, I have one. It's good. I'm going to show it to
Right.
somebody to scare them away," and that's not. This comes out at the last possible idea. You can either run. You have a lot of options you can try to do. This is the last possible thing, and you have to train with them. You have to shoot on a regular basis and be proficient. It's not TV.
Yeah.
It's
When you pull that out, you'd be ready to shoot.
Yep.
Right.
And you know that you're going to be accurate enough to get yourself out of that situation and stop whatever threat is happening.
But just becoming familiar with your firearm, plenty of, I can't even speak, plenty of practice at the range,
Right.
Learning the firearm so you know how to carry.
Yeah.
Some people carry
And carrying it just unloaded and being comfortable with it just being,
Yeah.
on me to start maybe.
I mean, there's two schools of thought with that, and carrying with one in the pipe and not one in the pipe, and everybody thinks safety and those things. So, and the way I think of it is the reason you carry one of these is to protect yourself in life. I have to draw this gun, right? I'm picking my shirt, I'm drawing, I'm coming out. Oh, I have to cycle it.
Right.
This is a high stress situation. I might miss one of those
Yeah.
steps. The reason you pull your shirt up and hold on to it is so you don't go like this and shoot yourself in the hand when you're trying to grab it. And also, to cycle your gun and draw it, let's say it's a half a second. If someone's 10 feet from you, they can get to you within that half a
Right,
second.
right.
So therefore, carrying one in the pipe it's almost at the point where if you don't carry one in the pipe, it might, there's a chance that it still doesn't help you.
Sure.
I get it, you have children, you're worried about those kind of things, and someone else picking the gun up and it's live. Well, that's the responsibility of whoever's carrying not to let those things happen, because this is that last chance thing and you don't have time. Everybody thinks, well, I'll just take it out and cycle one and then go stop.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't happen that way. If a guy's got a knife in 20 feet, he'll be on you before you can do all those things. So that's if you can just reach it here. Now, if it's in your purse and you're doing that or wherever you hide it, it takes a
Right.
little bit to get it.
Sure.
And that's where the situational awareness we kind of touched base on was super important, is giving yourself all the available time possible before that event happens, that you're prepared and to know it. And I say draw within a half a second or a second. That's when you know something's going down. Can you do it
Right.
when somebody comes up and grabs your shoulder and you don't
Exactly.
realize what's happening, and then can you to do it? So when we say training, it's not just going to the range and shooting plates. It's actually putting yourself in awkward positions, around barriers, laying on the ground, all these different things, and practice shooting that way. Those are
Training
situations.
for every scenario.
There's a lot of training classes, NRA and other people put on, fantastic shooting events to go to and learn. And I think, especially for new shooters or somebody just getting into it, when you start realizing how much fun you can have and the camaraderie with everybody else that's into the same things, it's really a great community and fun to be involved in. And it's not gloom and doom and everything else.
Right.
It's actually a fun sport to get in, aside from protecting your life, which is the most important.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about size of frames and stuff, and the grips are important with that.
Right.
That
Well,
SIG
because
there.
I like this because, I feel like I'm actually gripping it. I can hold it. So that would be important to me to make sure that I feel very comfortable with the gun.
And there are guns with adjustable back straps or side panels. You make that grip fit you. There's wooden grips, there's rubber grips, there's plastic grips, there's smooth, there's stippling, there's little dots on there or marks.
Yep.
It's all what you feel comfortable with and hold on to.
Depending upon where I'm going, though, I might get into, more of a compact size. So compact size, obviously, you're gonna have a larger, body, frame, that type of thing. But you're also gonna have more capacity. So depending upon where I'm going, where I know I'm going, whether I carry a Glock 42, with me, or this in my truck, or I carry this on me, in the back of my shirt or anything like that, it's hidden, it's protected, but I also have the extra capacity.
Right.
When you get that tunnel vision, or you want to have more capacity sometimes. So extra mags with you, where are you going to carry your extra mag? There's a lot of questions about that.
And then there's places you can't carry, federal building and stuff like that, or school.
Right.
So you also have to know where you're going to put this in your vehicle, or where you're going to keep this while you run into the school and out. Those kind of things too. Does it fit in your console? What's the Trailblazer or Blazer? One of them, I know they used to have a button that the whole dashboard slides down and you could put something in there. It was like a secret. Was it the Blazer?
Just told everybody.
Oh yeah. Well,
No more hiding spot. But yeah, a lot of the pickups now, they have a lockable storage underneath, but there's even laws around that. There's locks, that you can put underneath your seat, that it's cable locked to your seat frame. So there's different options.
so I know for us traveling, and we use the USCCA website. By no means are we attorneys, and this is stuff you have to look up on your, sometimes. But you got to look up the laws yourself and find out. But it's a great website to just give you a quick overview of what you're looking at and what you're doing. If you're locking in magazines separated and stuff, you can drive. So some states you can go through as long as you're not staying there overnight or stopping basically for gas, and that's it. But it's a lot to it for
Yeah.
carrying,
Yeah.
and finding out which gun is comfortable. I know we can stay here and give you the reasons and stuff, but until you actually shoot them,
Yeah.
it's what I like, what Greg likes are different things. What you're gonna like is different.
Yeah.
If you find a reputable dealer that has a selection of holsters and firearms, go to the range, try the different holsters,
Yeah.
see what works for you. You know, think about what your clothing options are and
Yep.
different places you can conceal. Again, I have a few different ones here that I carry with. Depending upon what I'm wearing that day, I'll run one of these, or I may run something different. That I have at home. It all depends on, again, is it warm weather? Is it cold weather? Am I wearing a t-shirt? Am I wearing a baggy jacket? What am I wearing?
Thanks, you guys, for going over this with me.
Yeah.
Very helpful.
If you want, we can run over to the range and try a couple of these.
Yeah.
Well, we brought some pistols, Molly. We'll have something for you to shoot. Try a couple different
See what you're
things.
comfortable with,
Very good.
Yeah.
what you want to do. And
So I brought a P320 here from SIG and an X Compact. What do you have with you, Mal?
I have a Smith & Wesson 9mm.
Okay. Matt, you bring anything?
I got SK VP9, and then 365 SIG. You got anything else?
Yes. I got a Glock 19. Got a Ruger LCR. Got a full-size P220 10 mil. Hold on.
Anything else in there?
And I got a Glock 42.
Oh, I got a little 25 auto too. That's weird.
So
Hold
we
on
got-
1 second, Molly. I just want to
You
make
guys
sure.
come very prepared.
I feel
That's high.
okay. It's clear. Molly, no. So we got a bunch of different pistols, and the biggest thing for what we were talking about was, what do you feel comfortable with? Put your hand good, and what do you want to carry? Like, do you need to carry a 10 mil? Probably not. It's large. I mean, it's just in a purse. You could probably get away with it. If you're in bear country, yeah, probably that's the right one to go with.
Yeah.
If it's an everyday carry that you're going to the grocery store, pick up Scout, do whatever, maybe something more compact. Either subcompact, 365 is a great choice.
Marty, have my
Yeah.
eye on that.
They're fantastic, and it's 10 rounds, so we won't go over all that like we talked about.
Similar in
That's
this
the one thing I've already
365.
noticed, that these are much more compact than
Yeah.
the handgun that I have that didn't seem to be appropriate for concealed carry.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, there's a lot of different options.
Well, thanks for showing me all the options, and
Yeah. Let's have you fire a
Appreciate
few
it.
and see what you like.
sounds good.
That gun is for you.
Clear.
Nice shooting.
Me personally, I was like, that's a perfect carry gun for me.
I like
It's
it.
9 mil, it's got plenty behind it, and yet you got 10 rounds. So,
Very nice.
yeah. We're gonna
This
go
is
with
a
it. So
Sig
that's a
3.
sub compact.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a SIG 320X Compact. Put up a perfect 4-back.
That's great shooting, Molly.
Very nice.
So one big difference when you get to a bigger frame size is your sight radius is longer. And when a longer sight radius, you're usually more accurate
Okay.
because you don't see all of this because it sticks out farther, you can hold the gun. So you do sacrifice a little bit of accuracy with the smaller frame, but then you have the carryability and everything else that goes with it. But you're shooting both these great, so
Yeah, they
if you're
feel
a bad
very
guy, I think you're
comfortable. I
around
like
Molly,
the,
you're in trouble.
the grip. Well, thank you guys very much.
Oh, at least you got some trigger time then, Molly.
Yeah, absolutely. That's always fun.
So you got to shoot it a couple different sizes. We talked
I-
about it out there. What did you think?
Yeah, I really like both of these.
Yep.
I really liked the SIG P365. I like it's compact. It feels solid in my hand. That was the main thing. When you talk about concealed carry, I feel like you have to have a little tiny gun, and I just, I want to make sure I'm comfortable with holding it.
Yep.
And so that felt solid, as did the P320. That was really nice too. So both of those would be an option.
Yeah,
Feel very
both great
comfortable with both of them.
platforms.
Yep.
You know,
Sig did a
it's-
fine job on that 365.
Huh?
Sig did a fine job. Am I
Yeah, it's a
yelling?
great,
Can't hear you.
They did a fine job on that.
it's a great gun.
Yeah.
You know, the Glocks too, the Glock 43 or the Glock 42. I mean, they're all. It's just a matter of whatever you feel comfortable with. And the thing is, if you feel comfortable with it and you end up, you want to carry it.
Absolutely.
And that's the most important thing, is having it with you all the time. So you want to make sure whatever you choose, you feel comfortable, and then you're more apt to keep it with you.
Yep.
Um,
And then
none
always
of them are
train
any
with it.
good if they're not with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Always get
shoot
back to the
as much
range.
as you can. Dry fire practice, you know, we talked about all that. So,
Absolutely.
but cool.
Yeah. Thank
Very
you
good.
guys.
You're welcome.
So Molly, and after shooting and whatnot and getting some different ideas, what do you think?
Yeah, I think the main thing is just, I found a couple that I'm comfortable with. So just getting out there and training some more with them, getting some range time, and finding the right holster that, fits me well and is placed in the right spot so that I'm comfortable wearing every day.
I know Greg mentioned that he would sell you any of his for very cheap, which is
Great.
very nice of
Even
him.
better.
You know, so like $20, you can have any of
$20,
them.
Even better.
You know, but ammo is $100 a bullet.
Right.
So if you don't have any more questions, we'll throw this out to our viewers. If there's any questions or comments that you have, please leave them below. We'll try to get back to them in our next video. Like our page, and we'll keep putting these out.